Hi, and welcome again to this latest episode of the Plata Ward 4 Update Podcast and Video. Hi, this is Dave Jenkins, the Plata Town Council member from Ward 4, and your host for this podcast and video, which is now also available on YouTube and YouTube Music. In this episode, I'm going to talk about the just released 2025 town election schedule and the new town ward maps. So let's get started. So here's this screenshot is right from the town's website. Nomination for candidacy, town elections 2025. So they've posted this a couple of days ago. And then this provides information about how someone would like to file to run for mayor and from the four wards in the town of Plata. I did this in 2021, so this is a process I followed. So in my instance, and you'll see here, that if there are two qualified candidates that file for the same ward, there is in essence, a runoff, which would be held on March 17th, 2025. And that would be voting between the hours of noon and 8 p.m. And then the actual general election is on May the 6th, 2025, again between the hours of noon and 8 p.m. And you can vote, if you're a registered voter in the town, you vote at the town hall. So down below here, I have links to the candidate information, which is the application or fill out to become a candidate. You'll see the nomination packet below here, and I'll show you essentially, I will show you the new town ward map. And then a great publication from the Maryland Municipal League entitled So You Want to Be an Elected Official. So this particular website is on the town's website, and I'll give you I'll provide a link to this so you can go into greater detail. But I just wanted to give you an overview first. So this next slide is an election schedule. And for those who are really interested to file to vote, you have to file your form by March the 3rd, 2025 by 4 p.m. And you can file it electronically or in person at the town hall or electronically. That's what I did. Actually, I filled it out electronically, but I hand-delivered it to the town hall and to the town clerk and or the director of legislative services, because I wanted to make sure it got there. And I think I also did email as well. But anyway, so again, as I mentioned in the previous slide, if there's two candidates running for the same ward that are qualified candidates, that is, you got to be a resident of the town, got to be a registered voter. So if there are two folks running for the same ward, which happened to me, it would be a runoff, and that would, and if it's necessary, it would be held March 17th, 2025. And you vote at the town hall between 12 p.m. and 8 p.m. And then you actually, the voting, once that's done, then there'll be an election ballot, and the actual town election for all candidates for town council and mayor, you vote on May the 6th, 2025, again from 12 noon to 8 p.m. that same night. So that just give you a brief schedule. And again, I have links to all this information to go into greater detail. But so this is the form that you would complete to file for the office of either, it says here at the top, whether you're filing for mayor or one of the four council districts. And again, you just give out your name, where you live, and it just kind of gives you a brief summary of what's out there. And again, there are links to this. And again, it says at the bottom here, filing deadline is to the town clerk by 4 p.m. on Monday, March the 3rd. So that's kind of a time hack you need to comply with. This next slide, it's an aerial photography, which the town now has pretty updated, but it shows the new 2024 ward maps, which was reviewed by our town election board earlier this year as required by the town ordinance. They then provided their recommendation to the town council as required by the town code. These revisions of the town ward boundaries do not require a public hearing. So it just goes after their review. They provide a recommendation to us from the town council, and we did actually vote and review the options and their recommendation at our September 10th town council meeting. So the last time the ward map was changed back in 2013. So they went to the election board went back and looked at the 2010 census. The census block data, which is the smallest element of the U.S. Census. And then you looked at the 2020 census information, and that showed, as you may not be fully aware, that the Plata grew in 2010 from 6,500 approximate residents in 2000 to over 8,700 in 2010, which is a 33% increase, and then we grew to almost 10,000 at the 2020 census. So the election board went back and looked at the population growth. They looked at the development patterns within each ward, and the purpose and the intent is to really balance out all the wards so they have somewhat equal population within each ward. So try to get as close as we can, or they can, to an equal distribution of population. So that's what it looks like. Kind of hard to read, but Ward 1 is this area right here. Ward 2 is this area. Ward 3 is this area, and here's 301, but here's Ward 3. And then my ward, Ward 4, which is here. And again, by way of some geography, this is Rosebrook Road, this is US 301, this is Route 6, Charles Street, this is 488. Here is the new development of Pine Grove, Hickory Ridge, Clark's Run, down here Steeplechase, Hawthorne Green, and other neighborhoods are back here. This Blythe area is even though it is connected to the town boundary, that was a subject of a 2022 annexation called the Hub, which, by the way, I voted against, but it was approved on a 4-1 vote. So again, I'll give you a link to this map. This is a PDF, so you'll be able to look at it. Let's look at this next slide. And first, before we get to that, I also wanted to share my decision that I will not be running for office from Ward 4 in 2025. The reason being, for many reasons, but the primary reason is that my wife and family, we will likely be leaving the La Plata area within the next 12 to 18 months to be closer to our children and now our grandchildren. So it wouldn't be, if I were to decide to run and if I was fortunate enough to win, it would not be fair that I could get a year into that term and then I would leave. So that's not fair, and frankly, I need to be considerate of my family and my own health as well. So it's really been a pleasure and honor to serve on the town council now over 3 years. I have had the opportunity to work with a dedicated staff and other individuals during my time on the council, because I have lived here for 38 years as well. And so I am very proud of the collected efforts by the town council as a group, collectively and with the town staff, to improve the quality of life on La Plata. And let me just rattle off a couple of those. So we adopted, in 2022, a town strategic plan. And while that's a good milestone and a good thing that we did, in my view, it still lacks specific metrics to measure or document how we're doing on all the goals and objectives and implementing those goals and objectives. And frankly, to provide you with a dashboard so we're transparent in our progress or lack of progress in those strategic plan goals. A year ago, this past August, the town did finally revise the website. It's much better. It's not, in my view, the fullest, but it's a great start to improve access for you, the residents. And in fact, there'll be some additional changes very shortly within the next month or so. Excuse me, it'll be easier to access our meeting agendas without going to a separate website. The town, in cooperation with the county, Charles County, and also funding assistance from the Maryland Department of Transportation, did complete the design, and now we anticipate construction later this year in 2024 or maybe early in 2025. The completion of the radio station road walkway, which would go from downtown La Plata out Route 6 along 488 and then out to Radio Station Road, and then would connect with the existing pathway along Wiswick Road. So we hope to get that started with construction shortly. And again, it's because of the collective collaboration with the county and also the Maryland Department of Transportation. The town has also been working on a drafting an adequate public facilities ordinance with great input from the town planning staff as well as the planning commission. We hope to be reviewing the initial draft very shortly. Over the last 2 years, we've funded additional needed positions on the town staff to include a human relations director and a full-time IT staff member to keep up with all the requirements of internet security and cipher safeness, because we were hacked a number of years ago. We've also have leveraged the American Rescue Plan, or ARPA, federal funding to fund a number of capital improvement projects, including a couple of new sewage pumping stations, some significant stormwater management projects so we can keep our state permit active and current. We've also purchased La Plata police equipment, needed equipment, so they can do a better job or increase their capacity to make our town safe. And then somewhat of a controversial thing, but we did fund the development of a pension plan for the Plata police and our public works staff members. So I, again, just want to say that was a collective effort, not just me, but by the town council as a group. However, I do want to own up and share with you my deepest regrets or things I wish I could have done better. One is downtown revitalization. There has been, for a number of years, a La Plata Town Center Corporation. We've made, frankly, little to no progress. I view that as my failure, so I own it, and it's on me. I was the town council rep to that board, and we just have not been able to move forward, even though this has been around since 2012. So unfortunately, we just haven't, in my view, have not made enough progress with that. My other regret and frankly frustration is the lack of town, citizen, or residents participation and engagement program by the town. And then as a result, frankly, little citizen participation by you within our town government. And I say that as a double-edged sword. From my view, again, the town does not have a very good public engagement program, and I'm going to I have made and will continue to make recommendations on how we can get better doing that. So I just want to highlight that you as a resident have every right to question us, to complain and call us out. It's our job and my job as elected town council member and members to listen and respond, but clearly recognizing that there are no easy answers or solutions. That's not a cop-out. It's just we live in a very complicated time. And it takes all of us, that is the government, elected officials, and you, the residents, working together to solve the many complex and mid to long-term problems La Plata does face. Believe me, I don't know all these issues, so your participation in your community, in your town government, La Plata town government, is critical. And unfortunately, this has been highlighted, or the lack thereof, by lack of attendance at our town council meetings and planning commission meetings. That, for me, has been a major disappointment. This also is reflective in the, frankly, dismal voter turnout for the 2021 town elections. There were less than 10% of registered voters who voted in 2021 for us in the town council elections and mayor. So that's very disappointing. Just remember, this is your town, and so I believe residents need to have skin in the game. Now, I certainly understand and empathize with the many competing interests you and your family have. I also know and understand that government stuff like we do it's tough, it's complicated, boring, and unfortunately it does take time. But I also know like I said earlier, the requirements of your family and work commitment. But again, I just have to say this, but as residents, just complaining to the town council or me or staff or just posting on social media is really not going to solve the problems. It requires your action and your skin in the game to make needed changes. I firmly believe that change happens from the bottom up. That is, from neighborhoods and residents make changes. And I will give you perhaps this current slide will show you this, perhaps a sample or an example of what could be a very successful and useful La Plata engagement process. This is it's called Livable Charlottesville, from Charlottesville, Virginia. It's a citizen group organization in the city of Charlottesville, Virginia. And then let me quote what their mission. We advocate for policies to build an inclusive community in the Charlottesville area with affordable housing, sustainable transportation, and healthy neighborhoods that are welcoming to all. And they have work groups that work on specific issues such as housing, transportation, and other related issues. So I think this is an opportunity for La Plata to mimic this kind of civic engagement that this and other communities do. And I will continue to speak out and provide recommendations to the council about how we can get better at this, because it's also on us as well. So, in closing, I want to thank you, the residents of La Plata, for electing me and entrusting me with this, what I believe is an important responsibility of service, and supporting me throughout my term on the council. I've learned a lot in this job over the last 3.5 years, and learning from you as well, things I didn't know, and your perspective is really helpful. So I'm very grateful for those relationships and experiences that I've gained in public service. I think that's important. So while I will not be running for re-election in 2025, and therefore considered probably a lame duck myself, I will continue to work, show up at council meetings and other events, and speak out for our community until my term ends in May of 2025. So again, thank you for the opportunity to serve and for the support and encouragement you have provided over these last 3 years. So the last slide, my asks are, please participate and engage in your town. Please get out and vote on November the 4th, 2024 on the state and national elections. And please get out and vote on May 6th, 2025 in the town elections for mayor and the 4 town council seats. I would urge you to be part of that process. So again, please email me at djenkins@townlaplata.org with your questions and comments. And as always, thanks for listening and stay well.